I took my elk rifle down to the range for the 5th range trip yesterday. I'm going to show you that video here in a minute. But I was having a terrible time getting this rifle to hit consistently. And, you know, at one point I thought to myself, I wonder if maybe I'm having an issue with my scope moving. And I grabbed my scope to move it, and of course it didn't move. But after a while, I noticed this right here. See that? See that right there? That's a scratch. And if you look at this ring towards the back, it's a little hard to see in this light. Notice it's a little scuffed up right there? Yeah, this scope moved. This scope has moved forward in the rings, or maybe it's more accurate to say that the rifle moved backwards out from under the scope. If you talk to people who are a little more experienced, they'll tell you that a heavy recoiling rifle plus a heavy scope is a combination that's prone to this kind of thing, the rifle recoiling out from under the scope. It's a similar principle, although I guess technically opposite to limp wristing a Glock. So, why have I been having trouble getting my rifle to hit consistently? Because my scope was loose. So it's range trip number 5. Range trip number 4 was a bit of a bust. I just wasn't really prepared for it, and I fired a bunch of rounds. I didn't make a ton of progress on it. So here we are, range trip number 5. We are still using these hand loads, but these are the Berger Hybrid OTM Tacticals. These are the Berger Elite Hunters. So what we're going to try and do today is get this thing completely zeroed on the loads I had before. And the problem with range trip number 4 was that I had changed the load here and had not re-zeroed, so my rifle was not shooting where I thought it would. I ended up wasting time and ammunition trying to get it to shoot. Trying to figure out why it was out of zero, and it was out of zero because I changed the load. I didn't even think about it. Once we get zeroed in with these, we're going to try shooting these Elite Hunters, because this is what I intend to actually go after Mrs. Elk with. I've got a depredation tag, so I can't get a bull. I've got to get a cow. So we're going to go cow hunting. We're going to go elk cow hunting, and we're going to use this round. So what we're going to do now is make sure that we're zeroed in. Then we're going to adjust it for a maximum point blank range, which means we have to shoot 2.6 inches high at 100 yards. Interestingly, the first time I came down here with this rifle, it was there was still snow on the ground. Now it's all verdant foliage, and last time I talked to the guy who farms this field, he was talking about harvesting in the very near future. So this rifle project has lasted longer than I thought it would. Anyhow, this is range trip 5. I have at this point shot 35 rounds through this rifle. I brought 15, so we're going to get up to a maximum of 50 rounds through the rifle today. So what we're going to try and do is put a round dead in the red diamond on that target down there, which is 0 inches at 100 yards. If we can get dead in the center of that, then what we'll do is re-zero this scope for 2.6 inches high. But right at the moment, based on where I was last time I was down here, I'm actually shooting a few inches to the left. So I seem to be really good at overcorrecting for this scope. So what I'm going to try and do is move it a few inches to the right, get it exactly where I want it, and then we can start that as our 0 point. Here we go with shot number 1. So shot number 1 was a bust. I can't even tell where I hit. So what I'm thinking is I need to go. I've got this thing approximately where I want it. I actually took a photo of my scope turrets last time so I could see where I had zeroed. I'm gonna try to decide. I don't want to just keep throwing lead shot after shot after shot if I'm not making progress. But I'm also feeling a little bit like I'm not getting data. I'm gonna think this through a minute. Someone else showed up at the range, so I'm going to go ahead and kill the video, but I'm actually grateful for it because I've got someone with more experience than I have trying to help me out with sighting this guy in. So I'm gonna kill this video now, but I'm sort of happy that I have to, if that makes sense. I'll check in again later. So we had to start from 0 again. I was so far off, I was having trouble. So we placed this cardboard box at 25 yards and we took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shots. Now that's way more shots than I wanted to take, but I'm hitting the bowl there. So I'm gonna go back out now to 100 yards and try to whack that sight-in target. Well, looky there. Okay, we are that low. Honestly, that's an inch. I know that's an inch because I made that target myself. So if I move it up 4 clicks, I should be dead on. Windage is pretty good. I've wasted way too much lead on this thing, and I honestly don't know what I did wrong. Of course it's my fault. I don't know who else's fault it could be. But somehow I lost the sighting, I lost the 0 on that scope, and I got to start again. So I'm almost back to 0. I'm gonna try and put 2 rounds right through here in the middle, and then I'm gonna call it a day because I'm starting to get exhausted. Well, found out why we're chasing 0 on the scope, because the scope's been moving. Got to go back and crank it down, and then we can start again. Isn't that terrible? You know, it's not that long ago I was watching a YouTube video and someone was having trouble getting consistent groups, and I was yelling at the screen, "Hey, your scope's loose, hey, your scope's loose." And wouldn't you know, that's exactly what happened to me just a short while later.